So this is question number 46 of question paper series A. So we are discussing which set A, and the question number is 46. And the question says that with reference to ancient Indian history, consider the following pair. Okay, literary works are given, authors are given. Literary works are Devichandragupta, Hammira-Mahakavya, Milinda-panho, and Nitivakyamrita. Okay, and the authors are Bilhana, Nayachandra Suri, Nagarjuna, Somadeva Suri. Okay, and the question is how many of the above pairs are correctly matched? This we have to answer. Okay, so before coming to answer, I am going to discuss with you the theme of this question. Okay, so that we could be familiar with the entire 360-degree approach in this question. So first, you should know about this famous scholar. This is Vishakhadutta. Vishakhadutta, right? Vishakhadutta. And Vishakhadutta is famous for writing two important books. These are two important literary works. One is Mudra Rakshas. Mudra Rakshas. Okay. This has been asked several times in various examinations. And the second important work is Devi Chandragupta. The second important work is Devi Chandraguptam. Devi Chandraguptam. Okay. So these are two important works of Vishakhadatta. Now, what is the time period of Vishakhadatta? Okay. So this is a debatable. Okay. Debatable question. So we are not coming to that exact time. Okay. This is a debatable. Okay. Now, debatable theme. Now, when we talk about Vishakhadatta, we should know that he was a famous Sanskrit poet, plus he was a famous Sanskrit playwright also. He was writing plays also. So he was a very famous Sanskrit playwright also. Okay. Now, Mudra Rakshas. Among these two important literary compositions, Mudra Rakshas is the literary composition which is only surviving. Only surviving. That's why this is important, and it has been asked in several examinations. Now come to Devi Chandraguptam. First, what is the theme of this Mudra Rakshas? What is the theme of this Mudra Rakshas? So this book deals with the, okay, you can say that statecraft. This book deals with the conspiracies within a state, and the state is Mauryan Empire. So this book deals with Mauryan Empire. Okay, the statecraft, conspiracies within the state, conspiracies within the state. This has been discussed. Okay, so basically the political theme has been discussed in Mudra Rakshas. And what about Devi Chandraguptam? So this book, this literary composition is not available. It is available in a different form. For example, the references of Devi Chandraguptam has been given by various scholars in various books. And all these references collected together now known as Devi Chandraguptam. Okay. So basically these are the parts of the remains, and especially the remains of references only, which is available in the form of Devi Chandraguptam. Okay. So this has been survived. And now this has been survived. So what has been discussed here? Now look at the nature of this literary composition. It is exact like what? Megasthenes Indica. Okay. So we also get the informations of Indica as the remains of the references. So Devi Chandraguptam is also like the same. And it also discusses the similar themes. For example, political affairs and conspiracies within the state. So it also discusses about the political affairs and conspiracies within the state. This is an important theme discussed here. Okay. So now come to the question. What we find when we come to the question, what we see, Devi Chandraguptam, what the question says that it is written by Bilhan. So definitely this is not correct. Okay. Because Devi Chandraguptam has been written by whom? Has been written by, okay, Vishakhadatta. So answer will be what? Vishakhadatta. Now come to the second question. Hammira-Mahakavya. Let's discuss some important themes about Hammira-Mahakavya, right? Hammira-Mahakavya. So there are important points, some important points to note here about Hammira-Mahakavya, right? Hammira-Mahakavya. So what are these important informations? First, this is an important literary composition of 15th century. This we need to know. Important literary composition of 15th century. And the second important thing is that this is written in Sanskrit language. This is a Sanskrit epic poem. This is written in Sanskrit language. This is a Sanskrit epic poem. And the third important information is it is written by a Jain scholar. It is written by a Jain scholar. And the name of this Jain scholar is Nayachandra Suri. This is the Jain scholar, Nayachandra Suri. Nayachandra Suri is the name of this Jain scholar. Now, this book, nature of this book is what? Biography. So this is basically a biography. This is a biography. Biography of a ruler. Biography of a Rajput ruler. And the name of this Rajput ruler is Hammir. That is why it is called Hammira-Mahakavya. It means we can also say that in 15th century, these literary compositions, okay, they received what? Official patronage of Rajput rulers. So very simple. So when we talk about this biographical work, we can also say that in 15th century, these literary compositions received official patronage of Rajput rulers. So this is Hammira-Mahakavya. Now let's come to the question. Okay, question part. Look at the second pair, Hammira-Mahakavya, written by Nayachandra Suri. So this is correct. This is correct. Now let's discuss the third book. The third important book is Milinda-panho. Okay, so this important book, Milinda-panho. Let's discuss this Milinda-panho. Again, this is an important literary composition. Literary composition. Okay, and this is related to, first you have to understand, later Mauryan phase. Later Mauryan phase. We all know the general timeline of later Mauryan phase is what? 200 BC to 300 AD. This is the 500 years. This is the general timeline of later Mauryan phase. And we see different group of foreign invaders came during this phase. For example, Indo-Greeks are there, Shakas are there, Pehlavas are there, and Kushana are there. Okay, and this is chronological order also. First Indo-Greeks came, then Shakas, then Pehlavas, and then Kushanas. Okay. One of the famous Indo-Greek ruler that we find mentioned in the book was Menander. Menander. Is it clear? He was the famous Indo-Greek ruler. And there are references that when this ruler comes to India, okay, he met a Buddhist monk. And this Buddhist monk name was Nagasen. Okay. And there were conversations between Menander and Nagasen. Right. And in these conversations, Menander was influenced by the arguments of Nagasen. And what is the result? The result is that finally Menander accepts Buddhist religion. Menander accepts Buddhist religion. Okay. So this shows what? A process of cultural interaction in which invaders coming and they are accepting and adopting Indian religion. Right. For example, Menander accepting and accepting what? Menander accepting, okay, Buddhist religion by the conversations with Nagasen. So this book is what? A collection of conversation between Nagasen and Menander. Okay, this is the nature of the book, a collection of conversation between Nagasen and Menander. Okay, this conversation took place in Sagala. Okay, and the modern name of Sagala is what? Sialkot. Okay, so this is one of the very important question from culture point of view. Now we come to another important point here. Nagasen. Okay, so there is a famous reference of this Nagasen in R S Sharma book, India's Ancient Past. It has been written very clearly that Nagasen, also known as Nagarjuna. So this is written very clearly that Nagasen, also known as Nagarjuna. Okay. So looking at this reference of historian R S Sharma, okay, we come to the conclusion that this pair is also correct. Okay. So this is the third pair, Milinda-panho, written by Nagarjuna, and Nagasen is also known as what? Nagarjuna. So this is also correct information. Okay. Now let's discuss one important additional theme here. Okay, in Nagasen or Nagarjuna. This is very important to know. Okay. The four group of foreign invaders I have discussed: Indo-Greek, Shak, Pahlav, and Kushan. Okay, so Kushan are the last among them. Okay, when we talk in a chronological order, Kushan are last among them. Okay, and among these Kushan rulers, Kanishk was very much famous. We all know this. And Kanishk also adopts Buddhism, especially which sect of Buddhism? Mahayana Buddhism. Okay. And Ashoka ruler, Mauryan ruler Ashoka, accepts Buddhism, especially which sect? Hinayan Buddhism. Okay, the original teachings of Buddhism. And Ashoka did what? For the promotion of Hinayan Buddhism. And here Kushana ruler Kanishka is doing the same for the promotion of Mahayana Buddhism. Okay, so this is an important point to know. And this Kushan, this belongs to group of invaders which were finally Indianized, and Kanishk is also known to give patronage to some important scholars. Okay, so there are some important scholars in his court, and the name of these scholars, you all may be familiar with the names. For example, the names were like Ashwaghosh, Vashumitra, Charak. Okay, so these are famous scholars like Ashwaghosh, Vasumitra, Charak, and the one name was Nagarjuna also. The one name is Nagarjuna also. Okay, so here we are also talking about what? Nagarjuna. Look here, Nagarjuna. This is one famous name here, Nagarjuna. And Nagarjuna is what? Nagarjuna is a Buddhist thinker, especially Mahayana Buddhist thinker. Kanishka was a promoter of Mahayana Buddhism. So Nagarjuna, Mahayana Buddhist thinker, and he is known for what? For his philosophy of Madhyamik Shunyakarita or Madhyamik Shunyavad. Okay, this is the philosophy in which he discussed about the principles of emptiness. Okay, so Madhyamik Shunyakarita, or Madhyamik Shunyavad, principles of emptiness. He discusses about what? Non-self, Anatma. In this principle, he discusses about what? He discusses about relative truth. He discusses about absolute truth. And he also discusses about theory of dependent organization, right? So this is what? Nagarjuna in Kanishka period. Okay. So you have to just know this information also. Okay. And this information also. Okay. So looking at the references given by R S Sharma, we will consider Nagasen as Nagarjuna, and this Nagarjuna comes later in Kushana period. Okay, so this is a famous reference here. Nagarjuna, Nagasen, Indo-Greek ruler, conversation with Menander. Okay, so this is an important information. Now look at the question again. Okay, so we have solved three pairs now. Okay, Devichandraguptam, Hammira-Mahakavya, and Nagasen, Nagarjuna. Now the last one is Nitivakyamrita. Okay, and it was written by Somadeva Suri. So let's discuss this book also. Nitivakyamrita. Okay, Nitivakyamrita. Niti Vakya Amrit. Nitivakyamrit. Okay, so the word here is mentioned is what? Niti. And when we say Niti, Niti means what? Ethics and ethical values. Very simple. Niti means what? Ethics and ethical values. It means in this book, ethics and ethical values have also been discussed. Okay, so important point here is that this book is written in Sanskrit language. Okay, this book is written in prose style. This book is written in prose style. And the third important information is that the writer of this book is a Jain scholar. The writer of this book is a Jain scholar. The name of this Jain scholar is Somadeva Suri. Somadeva Suri. This is the name of this Jain scholar. Somadeva Suri. The name of this Jain scholar. Now, Niti, ethics has been discussed. Plus, what has been discussed is that this Jain scholar has compiled the ideas and opinions of various scholars in ancient India. Especially, we are talking about ancient India, ancient Indian rishis, their opinions about polity, their opinions about statecraft, political ideologies, all has been compiled. For example, which ancient scholars and rishis the opinions has been compiled? Some famous names are like Narada, Parashar, okay, Rishi Vrihaspati, Rishi Angiras, Rishi Atreya. So these are the ancient Rishi tradition. So their opinions have been compiled in several compositions. Okay. So this is also called what? A nectar of science of polity. Okay. So besides these ethics and ethical teachings, this is also called what? A nectar of science, a nectar of science. Okay. A nectar of science of polity. This is called a nectar of science of polity. So this is an important book. Now we come to the question. Now we come to the question and look at the pairs. Okay. So Nitivakyamrita, it is written by whom? Somadeva Suri, who was a Jain scholar. So this opinion, this pair is also correct. Now, three pairs are correct. And what the question say? How many of the above pairs are correctly matched? So what you will say? Only three. Is it clear? Only three, right? So this is an important question and you should remember the important themes also.